My name is Benjamin Woosley, and the brand I'll be focusing on is Boxhoused. Boxhouse is a new independent artist in the music industry that's based out of the Los Angeles area. Here is an overview of the brand, challenge, and marketing tactics that we'll be discussing in this capstone project. Ultimately, we're aiming to build initial brand awareness through a multi channel digital marketing campaign. It'll include social media, display, email, search engine optimization, and the use of Google Analytics. The end goal is to build a passionate community of listeners that advocate for the Box House brand. Once this campaign is complete, the artist plans to launch a follow up secondary campaign to specifically promote an end of year full length record release. It'll be important to have a community of listeners before launching the secondary promotion. In addition, the campaign looks to generate useful data on which channels are generating the most traffic. This will help determine how the budgets for future campaigns should be allocated. For example, if we find a majority of users are clicking a link for Spotify's streaming service more than Apple Music from our homepage, we'll be sure to use a larger portion of the budget on Spotify specific promotions. Over the past 15 years, the music industry has begun to drastically shift its focus from physical copy sales to online streaming revenue. As you can see from the drop in revenue during the mid 2000s, the industry was very confused on how to react with the introduction of streaming and digital downloads. There was also a major issue with people stealing music, and there wasn't really a business plan in place on how to fix it. Luckily, with the improvement of subscription services such as Spotify and Apple Music, the industry seems to be stabilizing. Streaming services have become the preferred method of 80% of the US market and accounted for 47% of worldwide revenue for the industry in 2018. Although we're still waiting on official market data for 2019, the industry is projected to increase through 2020. With that being said, the industry has experienced a steady increase since 2014 and transformed itself into a landscape catered towards exposure via digital marketing. Since Boxhouse will be entering the market as an independent artist, it's important to understand how exactly independent music is part of the market share landscape. The industry is primarily made up of your three major players. That includes Universal, Sony, and Warner Music Group. After accounting for the market share that these three major labels occupy, you've still got a huge market for indie artists and labels. Based on reports from Billboard and the Nielsen Company, indie labels accounted for over 35% of the entire market share revenue in the US. Considering the worldwide market is also an important aspect of the music industry. In 2017, indie labels accounted for almost 40% of the market worldwide. It's in the best interest of the artist to provide access to their music instantly from any country in the world. This leaves room for global growth right out the gate. In addition, Spotify provides in-depth geographical data to help understand precisely where your music is getting popular. That being said, it's an encouraging landscape to enter as indie music has a thriving share of the market. Reaching global users has never been more attainable with the growth of streaming services. I also wanted to touch base on the aspects of competition in the music industry. In my opinion, the arts are very unique in this regard. The music industry is not set up to where the consumer only stays loyal to one brand like a lot of other industries. For example, say your favorite laundry detergent's Tide. You're going to stick with Tide, buy only Tide. In the music industry, you might have a favorite band, but you're going to be listening to hundreds of other artists and can't wait to find another favorite band. The listener can be engaged with many different artists of their taste. It's more of a community, not a competition. It is tempting to label artists within the same genre as your direct competitor, though, especially if they're from the same geographical location. Say you're a performing songwriter. You might conclude that all other performing songwriters have one key characteristic in common. You're both going for the same target customer. However, contrary to the assumption that these are your competitors, as we see in many other industries, the music industry is unique in the fact that these players can actually be your allies. The community aspect of music, with festivals and live performances, typically include far more than one artist. It's the backbone of the concept. The music industry is the one and only industry that thrives off of its so called competitors. Some say other entertainment products are the competitor to music. I'm reluctant to go along with this one as well. Typically, consumers don't just play video games or just watch sports. Although there may be a preferred option, people will usually incorporate some aspect of every entertainment industry into their lives. Although true, I did find the market breakdown of entertainment industries on this slide to be quite interesting. According to the current entertainment industry breakdown, who knew the book publishing industry would blow away the music industry? Here are some screenshots of the current social media accounts that Boxhouse has established. The brand has really done minimal paid promotions in the past. Each account has simply been used to keep subscribers in the loop on show information, any pertinent news, or track releases. There have been a couple low stakes Facebook and Instagram paid ads. These were for single releases and music video posts. But aside from that, the artist has been waiting on the production of a full length album to truly invest in the growth of the brand. With that being said, the bare bones necessities are all in place and ready for a surge in content production and exposure via paid promotion and influencer efforts. Boxhouse currently has 408 followers on their Instagram account, just over 900 Facebook followers, and 52 Twitter followers. For the sake of this campaign, the branding efforts will primarily be focused on Instagram and Facebook. As we know, the streaming services are the bread and butter these days when it comes down to plays, or as we refer to it in the marketing world, conversions. Each streaming service offers a pay per play amount that is trackable through a third party dashboard such as CD Baby, TuneCore, or DistroKid. Seeing as though this promotional campaign is aimed at building brand awareness, it is imperative that Boxhouse be available on all streaming services. Thankfully, distribution companies such as TuneCore offer a distribute to all option, which, in addition to submitting your music to available platforms, it also automatically submits your work to any new services that arise on the market. For example, Deezer is a platform that I'm sure many of you have never heard of. This is a streaming service that was created in Paris, France, and is quite popular in Europe. If you're aiming to reach a global market, ensuring your product is available everywhere will be a key component to your exposure. As you can see here, Boxhouse has established its profiles amongst all the streaming services. The major players in the market are currently Spotify and Apple Music. Amazon Music has been steadily increasing as they have recently begun including music with their subscription to Amazon Prime. Lastly, the option to select your preferred streaming service is available through the Boxhouse homepage or on the Google search page when searching Boxhouse. Here we'll dive a little bit deeper into the details of the purpose, strategy, tactics, and target audience of the campaign through the why, how, who, what scenario. First off, why? What's the purpose? What's the objective? What's the goal for the campaign? Well, Boxhouse is a newer artist that'll be releasing its first full length album in the winter of 2020. Before releasing, it'll be very important to meet the goal of building brand awareness and, in turn, a community of loyal listeners. Implementing these efforts early enough before the release will ensure the artist can not only maximize the pre release promotion that will follow this campaign, but also capitalize on making the most of the end of year release itself. Next up is how. What's the strategy? How are we going to build this community of listeners? Well, while the campaign strategy aims to achieve this primarily through a social media influencer campaign, it'll be important to provide quality content that is of interest to the target audience. Utilizing the content through a multi channel approach will ultimately build the desired community of loyal listeners. The music industry is built on loyalty and word of mouth. We hope that not only the impact of the influencer voice, but also the channel promotions will draw listeners to the Boxhouse content. Assuming the content is of interest to the audience, the community and brand advocacy will begin to grow. So who are we trying to reach with this campaign? Who do we want to be part of this community? Well, the target audience includes male and female users ages 18 to 35 ideally attending or enrolled in a university program. College and postgraduate students who have a passion for discovering new independent artists, subscribe to music blogs, and attend festivals or live music events are the ideal candidates to help build the community of advocates we desire for the Box House brand. Without getting listeners to offer some level of commitment to the brand, it'll be impossible to get them to listen to the music. Although this is a very specific target audience, we will get a little bit more broad when we dive into the display ads. We'll take a contextual approach, which involves trying to reach a little bit more broad of an audience that's not so specific, just in case there are other listeners out there outside of this target demographic that may be right for the audience. Lastly, what will the strategy be composed of? What are the tactics? Well, we'll be implementing all this through SEO, which is search engine optimization, email marketing, social media, display ads, and we'll also heavily be using the analytics from Google. Again, here's the overview of channels we'll be implementing for this marketing campaign. I just wanted to mention that seeing as though Box House is a new artist, it's kind of assumed that they haven't generated a lot of revenue from this brand. So for this initial campaign, it'll be important to take advantage of the low cost owned assets of the brand. Those being the email, even the social media, and ultimately the homepage itself will be key in building a community of advocates during these early stages. The homepage itself is an ideal place to funnel new listeners from each of these channels. Acting as the hub for all media, they can explore everything that the artist has to offer, from streaming music to photos to news to blog posts to music videos. There'll be plenty of content available for users to engage with and get to know all about the Box House brand. I wanted to first touch upon how SEO will be utilized in the campaign. Although we'll be doing our due diligence to optimize the SEO, it's kind of already known that this channel won't exactly be the main source of how we gain exposure. Fans rarely turn to Google search in an effort to find new artists. Have you ever typed in new bands that I might like or new artist 2020? Chances are not often. Chances are, if you're looking for new music, you're on another channel, you're in a Spotify playlist, something like that. So, although true, it's still in the brand's best interest to maximize the SEO coding. First and foremost, it'll ensure Boxhouse is in the best possible placement on the search engine results page for organic search, and in turn, help guide any potential listeners through their journey of discovering a new artist through Google search. The keywords of interest when focusing on brand discovery will ideally focus in on the independent music world. In addition, being based in Los Angeles will definitely act as a benefit for the Box House brand as it's a hotbed for new music. Example discovery keywords: new independent music, new indie rock artists, LA indie rock, Los Angeles independent music, LA nightlife, LA bands, indie rock music. On the flip side of brand discovery, SEO can be a great tool for your brand if somebody has heard your name, remembered lyrics from one of your songs, or maybe stumbled across your music in a public playlist. It'll aid in the exploration phase of the fan journey. After being introduced to your music or artist name, if the listener is interested, the first thing they'll probably do is Google that name. As a brand, this is your opportunity to show the potential fan everything you're worth. This marketing tactic can come in handy in a big way when trying to convert a listener from the exploration phase into actual engagement. We'll get very brand specific with these SEO keywords. The keywords should include your song titles, lyrics from your music, obviously the band name itself, or even potentially themes from music videos that you've already launched. Some example brand exploration keywords: Boxhouse, Boxhouse Music, Hazy, Architect, which are two track titles, White Room Music Video. We've got a music video out there that's based in a white room. I'll See You Soon. Those are lyrics from a song. Again, these are a compilation of lyrics, songs, titles, or even themes related to your brand. Get creative. Just dive deep into all your content. Think of think of anything people might be thinking of when they come across your music, any sort of themes. And these are just a few example keywords. Throughout the campaign, we'll be using the Google AdWords Keyword Planner to continuously update, expand upon, and improve ideal SEO keywords for this brand. Instagram will be the heart and soul of promotion for this campaign. It's one of the strongest channels currently available for musicians to not only increase their earned media, which includes mentions, shares, reposts, and tags, but also interact quickly and directly with their listeners. Whether in real life or the digital world, people enjoy feeling like they're part of a group. So, as a brand, you need to make people feel like individuals rather than just a number. You can do this by responding directly to each comment on your post with unique individual messages. Even if you find that some of the comments you receive in the early stages are from bots, still reply. This increases engagement and displays to your potential real followers that you're willing to engage. Boxhouse will utilize Instagram as a marketing tool in several different ways. Step one, create a content schedule of frequent quality posts through a dashboard planning service such as Hootsuite, optimizing posts through proper hashtags, location tags, and engaging posts, such as asking a question or using a call to action, will be the first step in building organic reach. It's important not to rely solely on organic reach for exposure, though. We must remember that although engagement on social media accounts is all part of the integrated plan, the theme of this campaign is to build brand awareness and funnel users to the Box House homepage so that they can explore more than what is just offered on Instagram. Whether listeners were targeted via SEO or Instagram, it should all funnel to the homepage at some point. With that being said, ensuring a majority of the posts encourage users to click link in bio will in turn also get traffic to the homepage where new users can explore the available content. In addition to utilizing organic reach tactics, the campaign will invest in promoted and sponsored advertisements on Instagram. Although the campaign will utilize sponsored posts from the launch of the campaign, Boxhouse plans to also slowly trickle out several singles from the end of year album in an effort to tease listeners on new material. These posts will be accompanied by a story from the studio to help people get to know the artist a bit more personally, or something quick and simple just to get them to click on the link. The idea will be to promote these teaser posts and target an audience that follows or has engaged with other similar artists in an effort to increase the earned media. Lastly, and what will likely be the most impactful use of social media, will be the tactic of connecting with music blogs, influencers, and industry allies. By industry allies, I mean artist friends with a larger audience, maybe bands that Boxhouse has played live with in the past or connected with on social media already. I'd be sure to co create content with the influencers in an effort to ensure the content being posted is quality material that is of interest to the target audience. This would include not only reviews of the music and a link to the Boxhouse account, but also collaborations with other types of artists who may need music for their posts in exchange for exposure. The music credit on, say, a painter's Instagram or a tag on the post from the audio will be just as impactful from the imagery being presented. Ultimately, the music blogs reviewing and highlighting the Boxhouse brand on their pages will be what is most effective. Having a trusted blog that knows the industry and has a track record of presenting quality artists, develop a review, and show advocacy for new artists is typically a strong avenue for community engagement. The KPIs for this channel will be based on traffic to the website from both the influencer pages and owned profiles, likes, comments, shares, and lastly, reach from the promoted posts, which is simply based off of how many people have seen the post. The Facebook tactics will share a lot of similarities to the approach our campaign takes with Instagram. We'll even be sharing all of the Instagram posts on the Facebook account. This will aid in reaching similar listeners that simply prefer Facebook over Instagram as a social media platform. Investing in boosted and sponsored posts will be the first priority and key component to the Facebook tactics. Beyond pinpointing the target demographic for these posts, Researching psychographics for the ideal listener will determine the success of sponsored ads. Facebook Promotions offers a lookalike audience tool, which enables us to input psychographic details such as interests, lifestyle choices, and most importantly, taste in music and art. Layering our initially determined demographic and education parameters with a list of focus keywords that includes artist pages, festival pages, pertinent music blogs, and other related art topics that would associate with the Box House personality should yield the desired engagement and click through results. In addition to this keyword data, we'll also be inputting the addresses gathered from our email marketing efforts discussed on the next slide. These will go right into the lookalike audience details and play a factor in reaching the proper audience. With users providing so much information as to what they like on Facebook these days, the platform is ideal for driving brand affinity. Next, we'll be sending out invites to all of the email addresses that we'll gather in an effort to increase the amount of follows on the Box House page itself. Lastly, just like Instagram, Facebook offers the opportunity to connect directly with the community. Beyond comments, likes, and replies, the campaign will have daily status updates scheduled each morning that ask questions and encourage engagement. Things like, "Good morning, world. I hope you're enjoying the day. Have you checked out the latest music videos on the Box House homepage? If not, start your morning right. Click below to jam and enjoy some visuals." We'll again be measuring the performance of these efforts by traffic drawn to the Box House website, likes, comments, shares, and reach. That goes for both Facebook and Instagram. Email marketing is a surprisingly effective channel for building the community of advocates that this campaign aims to acquire. It works hand in hand with the social media platforms as well. By providing personalized, exclusive content, as well as integrating subscription data into Facebook promotions, the brand should see a substantial increase in engagement on multiple platforms. Campaign emails will include not only relevant news, blog posts from the studio, and VIP content, but also prior posts from social media pages. By presenting links to social media content via email, the brand will either increase engagement from users who may have missed the original post or increase the amount of followers, as some of the subscribers may not even be connected to the social media accounts. The email campaign will also be clear about setting expectations for subscribers to know what they'll be receiving when joining the list. Simply making fans aware that one weekly email will be sent with the addition of an occasional email that includes exclusive content should aid in growing the list. In addition, after several months of being included in the weekly emails, the campaign plans to launch a survey email in hopes of getting feedback on what's working and what's not. We'll be adding Google Analytics tracking to the email campaigns to ensure we're able to track pertinent KPIs. The email automation platform of choice will be MailChimp. We also have 3 email acquisition tactics planned. The first and most direct approach will be to leverage paid social media promos to acquire addresses. The idea is to link users to the Box House homepage, which will automatically prompt users to join for exclusive content. This call to action engages the user right away, but also easily sets them up to explore other content from the Box House brand. The second tactic includes offering a discount via referral code. The more referrals the user brings to the email campaign, the larger the discount. To avoid being scammed in this concept, we'll be using returnpath.com to ensure legitimate addresses are being submitted and the email subscription list is clean. This also affects how the ISP categorizes our emails being sent to help them stay out of the spam folder. The last acquisition tactic actually won't come into play until this campaign is complete and the winter 2020 full length album is about to be released. But I just wanted to touch on it to make sure that it was known it's part of the overall game plan. Closer to the release date, we'll be planning several Los Angeles based listening parties. And at these parties, we'll be handing out business cards that will have an SMS number on them that you text your email to. Once you text your email, you get the VIP content, you're subscribed to the list, and it'll give you unreleased music and access to behind the scenes footage from the studio. The KPIs in play for this channel will include the number of subscriptions, the open rate of emails, delivery rate, click through rate of links, bounce rate, which determines whether your email actually went through or not, and lastly, unsubscribe rate. I also just wanted to quickly touch on the three trigger campaigns we have planned. The first one would be subscriber birthdays are always a nice opportunity to connect personally, perhaps encourage the user to have a birthday dance and link them to one of your more upbeat tracks to get their day started right. Boxhouse plans to also have a pre recorded birthday video message that would work for all subscribers. A Boxhouse birthday video will be an interesting way for subscribers to see a more personal side of the artist. But regardless of the medium, a humorous, personal approach is always nice for the birthday trigger campaigns. Next one is the thank you emails. After initial sign up, just a nice personalized thank you email will be sent out. The artist community is tight knit and needs the support of its fans and peers, so showing that appreciation is a great way to build brand loyalty. And lastly, trigger emails will be sent out for all new releases and upcoming material. If a new release email has been sent out and data shows the user has not clicked the listen link within 2 weeks of it being sent, a reminder email will be sent to not forget to check out the new content. The third channel in our campaign will utilize display ads. Google AdWords provides access to the Google Display Network or partner sites, which connects your brand to over 2 million websites that offer available banner ad space. When promoting through the Google Display Network, the tactic will be to take a more contextual approach and focused on broader themes and keywords. Since we're focused on exposing a new brand, promoting to a broader audience during the initial launch will in turn provide data for a possibly new target audience that was not part of the initial focus. The other channels within the Capstone campaign have a much more precise parameter for their target audience. So the idea for the display ads will be to explore a broader approach and hopes of finding some surprising data that shows a certain demographic that is engaging with the content that was not part of the initial focus. Targeted themes will include new indie rock music, Los Angeles based artists, top up and coming artists, and independent music blogs. AdPulse Media is a secondary display network that has a more focused approach on the industry. From the allocated display network budget, Boxhouse will aim to promote on some of these listed websites. In addition to the display network promotions, Boxhouse will also negotiate a direct to publisher agreement for display ads. This will be a campaign targeting Los Angeles lifestyle magazines and independent music review websites such as LA Weekly, LA Magazine, Pitchfork Media, and UnderTheRadar.com. These brands are trusted influencers in the market and will be key in getting new listeners to give the Boxhouse brand a shot. It'll be tough to make decisions by monitoring the analytics for this promotion. Only 8% of users actually click display ads. So just because people didn't click it doesn't mean it wasn't effective. The landing page for each advertisement will include a Google Analytics tag, which will provide us with in depth data of the display ad performance. However, we'll be more concerned with the impressions and reach KPIs rather than the click through rate. Click through rate and engagement will be secondary KPIs that we'll track, but ultimately find more use from the impressions and reach. The final channel we'll be integrating for this campaign will be Google Analytics. This is the backbone to the whole operation. Without properly analyzing data, you're just kind of blindly making decisions and likely wasting money in the process. Whether traffic is from the display ads or the email campaign, social media promotions, or search engine traffic, all of this data will be piling into Google Analytics and be invaluable for future promotions. Since this campaign is the launch of a new brand that focuses on driving traffic and building awareness, the traffic source will be important to monitor, especially through the first 30 days. This will provide insight on what channels are working fine the way they are and which ones might need some tweaking. Return on investment for paid promotions and direct to publisher display ads will be an important component to monitor as well. Although conversions and revenue are not necessarily the primary concern of this campaign, we'll want to at least see the bulk of the traffic coming from these sources to ensure it was worth the financial investment. Although we'll be analyzing all data available, some of the main KPIs associated with this channel will be unique visitors, return visitors, time on page, page views, which meaning other pages on your website that were visited aside from the initial landing page, also the traffic source and organic reach. Okay, here's the channel flow chart, which lets us know when each of the campaigns are going to kick in. For SEO, we'll have it optimized best we can at the launch of the campaign and likely updated throughout. We'll be continuously doing research on SEO for musicians and analyzing the incoming data just to help guide and make any adjustments as needed. We'll also closely be monitoring all of the brand content to make sure it's in line with what we know about Google's ranking factors. For email, although the thank you trigger emails will be sent out immediately after a user subscribes, the weekly content will begin after a month of launching the overall campaign. This will give us 4 weeks to gather an acceptable amount of email subscriptions before actually constructing the content. We don't want to be starting week one and sending out to 0 people or 2 people. We want to have a substantial list before we start sending that content out. The VIP content will start 2 weeks after the weekly emails, and the pre-release trigger emails actually will begin the very final week of the campaign and carry into the following promotion that will focus more on conversions and increasing streaming plays. That's the pre-release campaign that I mentioned earlier. For social media, with the social influencers and community involvement being the heart and soul of the campaign, it'll be worth the investment to launch the paid social ads from the onset of the campaign. And the co created influencer content will begin after the first month of paid promotions. This will give time to build up a little bit of content on our social media accounts before attracting the influencer audience. For display ads, they'll begin the same time as the weekly email content. In addition to display ads that will direct the audience to our homepage, this launch will also give us an opportunity to construct email-focused display ads in the rotation in an effort to build a subscription list. Lastly, the analytics will be observed throughout the campaign. However, it'll take at least 30 days or so for the data to really start to take shape and see any sort of trends that would require adjustments to the channels. To summarize, we've concluded that the communities and social aspects of the campaign are really what's going to drive the long-term success. The industry is built on loyalty from fans and other artists. In addition, the industry shift from streaming services and popularity of social media accounts makes the digital marketing world an ideal landscape to reach the proper audience. Optimizing the supporting channels, such as display ads, email, and SEO, so that they funnel users to the homepage and social accounts will be the best approach at building the ideal community. Remember that this is considered a new product launch. A lot of the KPIs and data being analyzed is aimed at just getting to know your ideal listener and not necessarily concerned with conversions. After zeroing in a little better on your target audience and some of their tendencies online, you can use this data to utilize new tools such as Spotify Ad Studios and SoundCloud promotions to really be able to target the right people and not only make a purchase, but be able to be part of the ongoing social community that has built an affinity for the Boxhoused brand. With that being said, know that the efforts of building brand awareness for a new artist will pay dividends in the future. This campaign is the first stepping stone to maximizing the potential of the Boxhoused debut full-length album scheduled for release at the end of the year. If we were to release the newest content at the onset of the promotion, it likely would yield mediocre results and be a waste of valuable content.